Department of Justice and FBI launching investigations into the apparent suicide of disgraced millionaire Jeffrey Epstein after it turns out he was taken off suicide watch. Attorney General Bill Barr appalled by the news, saying Mr. Epstein's death raises serious questions that must be answered. In addition to the FBI's investigation, I have consulted with the Inspector General. Joining me to react, former FBI Special Agent and U.S. Army Ranger Chad Jenkins. Chad, welcome to the show.
Well, to your point, I think everyone in America woke up yesterday just dumbfounded and horrified that Epstein was able to commit suicide, especially given that he attempted to commit suicide just a few weeks ago. And, you know, Inspector General will now investigate this because AG Barr did institute them to go ahead and start investigating, and answers need to be made of the questions that we have right now. It's unacceptable and it's ridiculous that Epstein was able to commit suicide and that he wasn't on suicide prevention or watch.
Well, there's also breaking news in the search for an escaped inmate in Tennessee wanted in the murder of a prison employee. ABC's Will Reeve has the very latest there. Will?
Eva, good morning. We've just learned there was a sighting of Curtis Ray Watson very early this morning. The Department of Correction releasing these photos taken by a resident who notified authorities Watson had been seen on their property. This is the very first sighting of Watson. You can see he's changed his clothes. He's now wearing overalls, a hat, carrying a backpack. This property is in the same town as the prison in Tennessee. Overnight investigators also increasing the reward for his capture to $57,000. State investigators have released pictures of his tattoos, adding that he also has one on the left side of his neck. Watson disappeared from West Tennessee State Penitentiary on Wednesday. Officials say he sexually assaulted and strangled a longtime employee of the prison, killing her before fleeing on a tractor.
Now to violence overnight in Jerusalem. Clashes breaking out between Israeli police and Palestinians at a holy site there. ABC's Julia McFarland is following all of the developments from our London bureau. Julia, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. That's right. The clashes began early this morning when tens of thousands of Muslim worshippers went to the Al-Aqsa Mosque for prayers. Normally, Jews are not allowed to pray at the Temple Mosque compound out of Jewish tradition and under a long-standing arrangement between Israel and Muslim authorities. However, this morning, police allowed several dozen Jewish worshippers into the compound, sparking angry and hostile reactions from Muslim worshippers, leading to riots. Palestinians say that 14 people were sent to the hospital for treatment, and Israeli media report 4 police officers were injured.
For now, let's turn to British Columbia because a community in that province is in shock after the apparent overdose death of a 14-year-old boy. Investigators right now seeking the public's help after shocking video and pictures of his final moments were posted online.
Carson Cromeny turned 14 just last month. He played hockey, he liked to cook, he was looking forward to grade 9 in September. For the most part, Carson was raised by his grandfather. On Wednesday, when the boy was late coming home, Daryl Cromeny went looking for his grandson and found him at a skate park only a couple of blocks away.
When I found him in the park, he was still breathing, and they couldn't save him.
The teen died of a suspected overdose. Family believe it was because someone gave him drugs.
Apparently they did it to watch him freak out. They filmed it. They put it on the internet.
While the City of Cape Town welcomes the launch of the National Tourism Safety Awareness Campaign, a city official says more needs to be done. The initiative was launched this week. It follows the recent murder of a Ukrainian hiker, along with other isolated incidents involving tourists on Table Mountain. Stefan Goosen has more.
Safety and Security Mayoral Committee member JP Smith says it's not so simple to police one of Cape Town's most recognizable landmarks. The city wants to work with provincial and national government on this.
I think that, as you can see, that's a very difficult thing to do. You've got an infinite number of access points, and the people you're looking for easily blend with other hikers. It's very hard to profile the person unless they look slightly out of place for whatever reason, but it's very easy for them to hide the weapon that they're using somewhere in the bush, and then when they see the victim, to recover that weapon.
South Korea and the United States have kicked off one of their joint annual military exercises today, which is set to run until August 20th. Our Kim Ji-yeon starts us off with more details on that exercise.
The South Korean and U.S. militaries hold their combined command post training for 10 days starting Sunday. Last week, South Korea and the U.S. conducted preliminary sessions in the run-up to their joint summertime training. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said the training, which is divided into two parts, involves computer-based war simulations to verify South Korea's state of readiness for the future transfer of wartime operational control from Washington to Seoul. Real military equipment and forces are not mobilized during the training. For the first time, a South Korean general serves as the commander and an American general takes on the role of a deputy.
A man's been arrested in Norway after a shooting inside a mosque in which one person was injured. The incident happened at the Al-Noor Islamic Centre in the town of Barr, near the Norwegian capital Oslo. The injured man was a 75-year-old member of the congregation, according to local media. The suspect's not been identified, but has been described as a young white man. Oslo police also said one person was found dead at an address in Barham, which they said was linked to the incident at the mosque. The mosque had previously implemented extra security after the Christchurch killings in New Zealand.
The site of the worst nuclear disaster has become a popular tourist destination. People have been coming here in droves, despite lingering elevated elements of radiation. In April 1986, the core of a reactor exploded during a safety test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Plumes of radioactive material spread contamination across Europe. Hundreds of thousands of people living nearby were forced to flee their homes. Chernobyl has been deserted for decades. Tourists now can come here and see where the worst nuclear disaster in history happened. Visiting is safe. The tour includes a walk around decaying buildings, playgrounds, and schools. Personal belongings remain where their owners left them more than 30 years ago. And now, the government wants to ride on the hype around the Chernobyl TV show.
Overcrowded, choked with pollution, and literally sinking. Jakarta is famous for all the wrong reasons, so what's a president to do? This is Suharto Hills in East Kalimantan, one of the proposed sites for a fresh start.
So the idea is to move the center of government to the new capital in Kalimantan.
These rolling hills, dotted with illegal plantations, may soon be home to 1.5 million civil servants and their families, government, military headquarters and international embassies relocated, with early construction set to start within 2 years. 3 regions are under consideration, but the site in East Kalimantan is firming as favourite to land the contract.